To the intelligent painting Jessica X. Oh, you've been learning British slang, or are you British? Painting means a good looking person. Okay, so Mike, I see you there. You're in the show. Thank you for
Okay,
coming up.
no problem. This is my first time doing this.
Okay, it's your first time joining somebody's stream.
Yeah,
So, we could see that there was, I wouldn't call it controversy, but there was a situation. You were over on Fresh and Fit's podcast. You gave your opinions on that podcast, and you were called a simp. You were called blue pill. You didn't know what that meant, and you sort of delved into the internet to find out what it means and gave your opinion on the red pill. So, like I was saying, red pill is just the awareness of women's true nature, women's nature in its most primal form. Do you want to
right.
give a
Well,
few words about what happened?
yeah, well, red pill, I guess, is a new definition of it because it used to not be that, right? It had a completely different meaning. Um, and they used it in, what was it called? The Matrix. But now it's something completely different. And the term existed before the Matrix. But the Matrix did use it, but now it's something different and it has a lot to do with, you know, the dating situation, the manosphere, I guess it's called. But
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it used in this context before. And the word simp has been changed because according to a lot of these people, these minions that subscribe to this philosophy, is a person that's nice to women. But a simp, growing up, like we call a simp like a sucker, like a chump. You know what I mean? It really had nothing to do with how you were with women, but it was just like a sucker, like somebody is soft, like a wimp, a punk. Anyway, so all of this stuff was just new to me. You know what I mean? And here's the thing: I don't have a problem with nobody's having their philosophy. People can subscribe to whatever they want to, but I'm not one of those people that I hear something and then I run to it like, oh, that's me. Because people love to be associated with something. And I do my own thing. I move how I want and I create the rules for my life. So a lot of these guys is interesting because
Sorry to interrupt. Do you have YouTube playing in the background?
it's all the way down.
Yeah, because they're saying they can hear an echo. I saw you being called a simp. I definitely feel like, okay, so within the red pill community, the word simp can be very overused. That's something that I explained at the beginning of the show. You can say hello to a woman and you'll be called a simp. So some people do go too far with it. I gave my opinion on what you said during the podcast, and I don't feel like you were simping. I don't. So yeah, people are gonna have their different opinions of it, and it is overused. I think if you're new to the sector and you're not used to it, you may take it personally. My advice would be not to take it personally because the term is just, it's thrown around, it's thrown out there. But since you've almost discovered the red pill community, do you have any other thoughts on it?
When you know when it's broken down in a rational way, it seemed like it makes sense. But here's the thing: the sheep run amok, and the shepherd is not hurting its sheep. So what I mean by that is the leaders of this particular movement, they will say what it's about. However, their people have a completely different understanding of it, and it's very counterproductive to a young man really understanding a woman's nature if that's really what they say that this is about. Because they're counterproductive and they're saying to me, now that this is the same, this is what they're saying. Well, Mike, well, look at you. You're genetically gifted. You have money. You don't, this doesn't apply to you. But I'm like, hold up. I look the way I look because I trained and I've done it all my life. And I've done the things that, and not just that, and I use my brain and I make money. And I've done that all my life. So I'm qualified to be in a position to have pick of the litter, what they want, right? So I'm like, listen, why don't you, instead of talking shit, ask me, like, well, what do I need to do for this? How do I get to that? You know what I'm saying? Versus coming up like banding together, because it's kind of like a men's group, like battered men. My heart's been broke. You know what I'm saying? These evil women. That's literally the vibe. When you
Hmm.
read the comments, that's literally the vibe. Guys who've had terrible experiences with women
Have you
or
heard
their
of
woman.
the term red pill rage? Since
Yeah.
you Okay, so red pill, okay, you're familiar with it. I would say when I entered the red pill space, if I had just gone in, stayed there maybe for a couple of days and left, my opinion on it would be completely different than it is now. When I came in, I did encounter red pill rage. So I had people that called me all sorts of names, right? Just all sorts of nasty names. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, what's wrong with these people? Until another content creator actually explained to me what red pill rage was. And it's where, you first get, how can I put it, awoken to women's true nature. And some people can be angry about that and have a certain perception of women because of that. Now, I will say, I feel like red pill rage might be necessary for the growth process. Not necessary, but it's
Are you serious?
helpful. It's helpful to some people because it's like you have to get that out of your system. But I do find it to be unhealthy when men remain in that red pill rage, because then it does limit you. You're just constantly angry. If you remain in red pill rage, then you may act a certain way to it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're acting a certain way towards women. Women are going to give you a certain vibe back, and then it almost confirms the thought that you've got, that all women aren't shit. But you've approached them with a certain vibe and they're just reciprocating that energy. So I feel like people go through red pill rage, but it's not a healthy place to be in for a long time.
I don't know. I think that's bizarre. Honestly, I think that's bizarre. I can't subscribe to that. Listen, if people go through that, I guess that's their truth. That's their reality. I've never experienced that. I don't like my inner circle is not a thing. It's not our reality. So
Would
yeah,
you
I mean, but
say that
I'll never say that something is not real for another person. But that's just not
Mhm.
real for me.
Would you say that your experience in life is unique? Because you said earlier that people have told you that you're having a certain experience because you have a certain set of genetics. That's what mediocre tutorials and reviews spoke about. And I appreciate that you've worked hard for your lifestyle, because I watched the interview. So you've worked hard for your lifestyle, you've worked to get where you are today. But if we strip all of that back, even without, the body aesthetics, would you say that maybe you're a good looking guy and good looking guys will have a better experience with women versus an average man?
Nah, listen, looks are subjective. And then you have looks, you have your basic genetic setup. But I know dudes that are on paper like well structured, but probably an attractive person, but are really weird and strange and sit and play video games all day and don't know what to say to girls, never date. Like there's so many different variables. This conversation is about men and women has been simplified down to super unnuanced levels. Listen, there's so much more into it than somebody's looks. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty, like even for women, I know plenty of women that's beautiful that I want no parts of. It's so much more than that, right? So whether a person made certain decisions in their lives to qualify themselves to be that ultimate guy, that's these are decisions that anybody can make, and it has nothing to do with looks because there's plenty of ugly dudes who got a big bag and get whatever chick they want. You know what I'm saying?
Because women
It's plenty of dudes also with a lot of charisma and personality. May not be the best looking dude, may not have the most money, but can still be very persistent and get the girl he wants. Men can get whatever woman they want. I know
But
it. I've seen it. You know what I'm saying?
those are mainly outliers. We can all say that, I know a guy that's 5'3", 5'3", unattractive and has no money, and he's able to use his charisma to get women. We can all say that, but those are outliers at the end of the day. And I'm sure even you'd agree that a pretty woman, although you may not want to keep her, she gets access. So I agree it takes more to keep a person, but your looks are what give you access to be involved with another person. Your looks, I always say your looks get you through the door, and you have to bring more to the table to keep yourself in the room. But we can't deny that looks get you through the door. When it comes to women, women are picking primarily off of two things: looks and money. Women will tell you that. I don't want a guy I don't want an ugly guy, I don't want a broke guy. Those are going to be the first two things that come out of women's mouths. And then
Mm-mm.
they can start looking at character, and then they can start looking at these other things. But if you're just an average man, so you don't have a lot of money, you don't have above average looks, you're not going to be as successful.
I
So
mean,
that would,
okay.
you
Yeah,
don't
but
agree?
I don't know. This life is way too dynamic for that to just say it's like this and that's it. It's a lot of good-looking people that are single, you know. And are we talk what are we talking about? Like just hookups, relationships? Like what are we talking about here?
Okay, so hookups are the access to relationships. Your looks are what gives you the access to relationships. So that's what I'm saying. Your looks are what get you through the door. That's why I use that analogy. Your looks get you through the door, so it gives you access to that man or to that woman. And then you have to bring more to the table for a relationship. Of course, that's when you start to take into account personality, their character, what they bring to the table. But primarily, people are judging by looks first.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. But here's my I don't even have an issue with this thing because what people choose to do with their lives and what philosophies they choose to subscribe to, that's on them. It has nothing to do with me. But this is what I observe in my brief time of being exposed to this red pill, blue pill thing. And I'm not saying that this is what it's supposed to be, but you read the comments, and these dudes hate women. They have so much visceral hatred towards women. And it sounds like a men's group, battered dudes ego group. And that's not productive. Listen, if you don't have luck with women, it's not them, it's you. Get your shit together. A lot of dudes is chasing women that need to be building a foundation for their life. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these dudes have to be really young. I was just by the comments. You know what I'm saying? With not an extensive life experiences. So it's like, what are they talking about? What are you talking about? Like, get your shit together first before all of this. I don't know. This is just a strange. To me, it's a strange um cult or club, and is it supposed to be this way? I don't think so. But just like religion, religion is ran corrupt for the most part, but it wasn't written like that. That wasn't the intention. But you put something in the hands of men, in the hands of people, and they fuck it up. And that's what this looked like. Look, see, look at how defensive they're getting. This isn't a cult. This isn't a cult. This is a cult because it's something that somebody else came up with the rules for, and y'all squeezing into this box.
There
That's
are no
wild.
rules. Okay, so there are no rules.
But
I'm
there
I'm
there
a
are there
woman.
are there are certain tenets that I hear everybody saying the same things. You know what I'm saying? So it may not be rules like you have to subscribe to this, but I see a lot of the same things being said across the board. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. I'm not gonna go there. There's
Go
I
there.
seen
Go there if you
nah
want.
nah nah. 'Cause I don't want to put nobody on blast like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what though?
Mm.
I will admit that there are some guys that are angry at women. There are some guys that have that viewpoint. But if I can be in a space that might be, and I said I don't consider myself to be red pill, blue pill, black pill. There are lots of pills. I don't subscribe to any of the pills. But there are some people that follow me who will have a red pill ideology. But people can't subscribe to me as a woman and hate women. I think it's a misconception that all of the guys here just hate women and they're angry at women and, they want to see all women suffer when I'm a woman who is thriving well within this space.
What does that mean?
Well, if there was such a hatred for women or such a dislike or disdain for women, how would I be able to be here navigating through this space?
Well, I don't know. I don't know your content that well, but maybe you're saying the things that they want to hear because, in no disrespect to you or nobody else in this space, but it's a lot of echo chamber. You know what I'm saying? It's people that already agree with something and somebody else giving that confirmation to what they subscribe to. It's kind of like church. You know, you go and it feels good. They're saying what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? There's no you know, I don't know if you interview people or whatever, or get varying opinions often or whatever, but I don't know. Is this all you talk about? Like red
Um,
pill stuff? Is that what the nature of your channel
not
is?
not necessarily. Like I said, I wouldn't describe myself as being red pill, but I do talk about social dynamics, relationship
Mm,
dynamics. That's the content on my channel.
okay, that's what's up. Nah, I mean, to each their own. Like I said, to each their own. I have I don't have anything. My life is just my life. I don't have a thing that I live by that I have a name for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
I get
and
you.
I don't me personally, I go away from groups. You know what I'm saying? That's just me
You
though.
want to be
I'm a
an
I'm a
individual. I get
I'm a
it.
solo. Yeah, that's just me.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Would you say that there is a double standard within society
In
between
terms
men
of
and
what?
women? Between how women are allowed to treat men versus how men are allowed to treat women?
I don't know. I don't think so. Are you saying that in terms of like women treat men shitty?
Yeah, well, as a woman, society allows me to critique men all I want, right? I'm allowed to say whatever I want. If I think you're too short, I'm allowed to tell you, you're too short, I don't want to talk to you. You're too broke for me, I don't want to talk to you. You don't have enough money, get out of my face. But if a man says to a woman, you're too overweight for me, I don't want to be with you, he's called a body shamer. People will try and cancel him. He's not allowed to
Is
come out
that
and
is that
state
is
his
that is that
preference.
real? Is that a real thing though?
Yes, there are.
I've never seen, or I feel like a lot of this stuff people say that this exists, but does it?
Have
I've
you
I've
seen?
never
Do you
seen
know who
it
Lizzo is?
personally.
Lizzo,
Nah,
the
who's that?
singer. She's a
Nah.
she's a singer. She's a mainstream singer. I will not sing her songs because I will not do her justice. But she is a mainstream singer, and she's one of the faces of the body positivity movement. The body positivity movement is real, and what it is embrace all sizes of women. You're not allowed to call out women for being bigger. All women are just as beautiful as the next woman. Blah de blah de blah. Okay. The body
Mhm.
positivity movement is real. They will try and
Yeah,
cancel
but
people for
there's
saying,
this okay, let's say that, right? I think that's goofy body positivity. If somebody's fat, they fucking fat. It is what it is.
right.
Matter of fact, I was in a really big room on Clubhouse the other day talking about this. And, I said what I had to say and I told, you know, even me and Melissa on my podcast talked about it. And she was saying, well, obesity is a disease. I'm like, nah. If it is, it is, but it's a decision to get there. Nobody's making a person keep eating. You know what I'm saying? People get there on their own. So I don't subscribe to So there's a lot of political correct, irritating concepts out there, right?
Yeah.
I don't educate myself on it because I don't care about it, and I'm not subscribing to that shit either. I don't subscribe to body positivity, but it's not no issue in my world. Nobody is trying to cancel me. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody's overweight and obese, I have plenty of conversations. Matter of fact, there's a girl, I ain't gonna say her name, but she's a plus size model, and we was having a discussion, and she was like, she's with the body positivity stuff, and she talking about how cute she was. I was like, yo, you're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? This girl was big, like 300 plus pounds. I'm like, you're gonna die. You should think about your daughter and your kids or whatever, yada yada yada. And we going back and forth about it, and she understood what I was saying, what I was getting at. It's more than just your aesthetics, and just because you get attention because you're overweight, yada yada. It's not cool. So I don't know. I don't receive that
Do you
pushback
know
on
what?
reality. You know what I mean? And then you take somebody like the singer, maybe she's real popular. There's always somebody trying to be in the news. Everybody's fucking outraged about everything and want to be, and voice their opinion against this and
Right.
against that. But who cares? Like that shit is
But
so meaningless. It doesn't affect nobody's lives. You know what I'm
it
saying?
does. It does
In a
affect
meaningful way.
lives because if I say that at work, I can get fired from my job for saying that somebody is overweight. It's
Can
affecting lives
you
because,
can get you saying you can get fired by mentioning someone's overweight?
yeah.
Well, I don't know where you work at, but that's
So,
maybe you
okay,
shouldn't work
it
there.
might not be as extreme in America. I'm in England, okay? So it might be different over there, but I know that I can. Have you heard? And here's the thing: you spoke to certain women and you didn't get pushback for that, but speak to other
Hold on, hold
women,
on, hold on, hold on.
and
Look at. Here, I hate to cut you off, but look at your
no, it's
comments.
fine.
They're saying he's so detached. They're saying, "Wow," like as if people really get fired for saying someone's overweight, right? We both know that that's a stretch. You know what I'm saying? But people, when you talk to an echo chamber, there's no rational conversation. It's just agree or fuck this person.
But
And these,
Mike, I don't.
and some of these guys, hold on, they're calling me simp and soft. They would never. Reality is this: they're saying it online. You know what I'm saying? They would
This
never have a
stuff,
conversation with me and say these things.
this stuff
And what?
happens. I listen. We're online. People say a lot that they would not say to
It's
people's
hilarious.
faces. That I agree with. Okay, people do, but you have to realize that this stuff is affecting people's real lives. You can get fired for that. You
Well,
can. And
maybe in the UK, but not here. That's not a real thing here.
if you're working in a certain environment, that might not be an everyday reality for you. But if you're working in the corporate world where I work, that's a reality. This stuff happens. So you're on tiptoes where you can't say anything. But guess what I can say at work? I can call a guy short, I can call him broke, and there were going to be no consequences for that. We had a story, right, where there was a woman who cut off her boyfriend's penis and she put it in a blender. And they were discussing this on primetime TV. And the women were sitting around, it's a show called The Real. The women were sitting around laughing about how she blended his penis, right? She blended his dick. Could you imagine if four men sat around on primetime TV and spoke about, a guy cutting off a woman's breasts and blending them? And four
I'm
men were
a,
to sit around and laugh about that.
okay. Let me give you some perspective. Now, in this country, I can't speak on UK or anywhere else. I've been there, but not extensively. Been here all my life, right? There's a lot of shit that black people say about white people, right? There's a lot of shit that if white people said it, it'd be considered racist, right? There's a whole Black Lives Matter movement, right? There's not a White Lives Matter movement, right? You follow me?
Yeah?
You there? All right. It's a reason for that. There was a time when black people were whipped, was on plantations. We were slaves. We were treated like cattle, like animals, right? In this country, I don't know about there, but here,
Mm-hmm.
women have been treated like shit from day one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Women, like, women, black men, but not even a complete. You need two black men for a vote. Back when we were given the opportunity to vote, were able to vote before any woman in this country, right? Women get raped. Look, I was locked up. I did time.
Hmm.
There were so many dudes in there for domestic violence, right? It's like, oh, matter of fact, when I got out, I had to take anger management class, and 90% of the dudes in there was in there for domestic violence cases. You know what I'm saying? Women, it ain't like the shit is equal. This is a man's world, right? Women are like, gotta clutch your purse. You walk down certain streets, dudes is out there, you're not comfortable. That's never a case for us. So if y'all wanna, oh, he's short or whatever, who cares? Like, if that hurts a man, he's a pussy. If some words from a woman hurts a guy's feelings, boo hoo. Like, come on. It's not, it's a false equivalent. I don't think there's a double standard. It's just men and women. I don't see it as a war between men and women. There's damn sure not an attack on masculinity, because they say that too. If a man feels his masculinity is under attack, his masculinity is fragile, and he's not very confident in his masculinity. Because that's not something I've ever felt. So no, I don't subscribe to none of that.
So
Women,
I
women, women are in a very vulnerable position in this world, literally. So nah, just because if a woman want to be mean or visceral with her words, like, big deal. That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt shit.
I agree that in the past, women's treatment hasn't been the best. I've had people ask me, Jessica, are you willing to give up your vote? Are you willing to give up the right to vote as a woman? And I'm like, hell no, I'm not giving up my right to vote. It's not happening. So I realized that, okay, how women were treated back then is one thing. But right now, the legal system, and I heard you say on your podcast that the world is still run by men. Men are in charge when it comes to the Western world, so the UK, America, yes, men are in charge, but men are making laws that are biased towards women. So, although we can say sticks and
But why,
stones,
why is that though?
are you going to say because of history?
I'm asking you, why do you think men are making laws biased to women? And like you said, men are making laws, not women. But go for it. Why do you think that is?
Because, do you know what? I can't give you 100% a reason as to why those men are doing that. I can't. I can't say for sure what's going on in their head
Do
and why
you
they're
are you
doing
against
it.
that? Do you want them to not make these concessions for women?
I think that if we're in the age of equality, then the laws
There's
should be
no, there's no,
equal.
there's no, there's no equality. Men and women are not equal. Let's be honest. We're not the same. We can say that to be nice, but are men and women really equal? Like, let's be real. Are men and women equal?
Here's the thing, the changes that we're speaking about in terms of the legal system have come from feminism. Feminism is about
It's
equality
not.
for
That's
women.
not. It's not. It's not. You really
That's
think that?
okay. No, I actually don't.
Here,
I don't
here,
feel like
feminism is laughed at out here. Nobody takes that shit serious here.
the
It's
laws are
like,
taking it seriously.
where? What law?
Okay, so you have laws where the legal system, you spoke about how you did time. When it comes to the criminal justice system, it's lighter on women than it is on men. That's a fact. Women get
And,
away.
and
They
what?
don't
And
go.
what? And sense of what? Men commit way more crimes, and the crimes that we commit are way more impactful than what women do. This is not the same. Men and women is not this. You have a better chance at saying the argument that black men get harsher sentences than white men. But just saying that men get punished worse than women, that's not a thing. Like, who wants women thrown in jail? Like, I mean, come on. This
Okay,
are
so
you?
are you so
Why are
wait.
you saying these things?
You agree
Honestly,
that you agree that women should get preferential treatment.
I'm not saying that. People should. Laws are laws. And listen, I know the system, and a law. Let's say aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That there's a tag. There's a thing called danger. It's a tag, right? You remove that tag. If that tag is not on there, the person don't have to go to prison. If the tag is on there, it's mandatory prison sentence, right? It could be anywhere from 3 years to 7.5 years for that particular crime, right? So let's say one person get 3 years, another person get 7.5 years. Who's to say what's fair or not? The law is that malleable. Is not exactly 2 years for this, 1 year for that. It's not like that. So there's so many variables to the legal system,
The
you
law
know,
is malleable.
and you got to understand, like, there's so many variables, like one's ability to properly defend themselves, if they have money for a good attorney or not. That will matter as well, you know. So it's not a black and white thing with things like that. And men commit crimes at a far higher rate than women. It's not
I know
even
that.
close.
Okay, so men do commit more crimes. They do. But what I'm saying is, if I commit aggravated assault with a deadly weapon,
Hmm.
I'm just as dangerous as a man committing aggravated assault with a
Are
deadly
you though?
weapon.
Are you?
I am. If I pull out a gun to shoot someone, I can do just as much damage as a man can.
A knife can be considered a deadly weapon. A bat can be considered a deadly weapon. I
If
don't
I
think you'd
stab
be
if I
if
if I
you
stab
if you're.
someone, it's going to do
I have
just
a
as much damage as a man
no, no, no,
stabbing
no.
someone.
I have way better chance of taking a knife from a woman than a man.
It no most women
If
crime
if a
is
woman
so
hit me with a bat, that's a dangerous weapon. If a man hit me with a bat, it's going to be a different impact.
no, so when we look at crime, crime is mainly man on man and woman versus woman.
It's
So
not true.
me going to stab
That
another
that is
woman,
so,
we're
should I pull up
equal.
statistics right now? Because
Yes,
that's so not true.
violent
Violent
crime.
crimes is typically between people related to each other or in relationships and stuff like that. Hold on, let me pull this up.
Violent crime, right? When we look outside of domestic relationships, is
But you
mainly
can't
same
look outside
gender
it. You can't look
on
outside of
same
that.
gender.
Why would you look outside of that? That's a huge part of it. Like, listen, like, no lie, I'm not bullshitting you. Hold on, hold on. Violent crimes. Listen, LA. Hold on. Homicide. Let me see. Okay, total violent crimes. I don't know what this number means, but 365, right? Aggravated assault. This is in 2018. Aggravated assault, 201. Robbery, 127. Rape, 32. Homicide, 6. You see how high rape is? That's a violent crime as well, right? Should that be like, well, she could have fought him off? Like, come on, man.
No, no,
Women,
no
so
one here,
women shouldn't be
no
protected.
one, no one
Women
has
shouldn't
that
be
opinion,
protected.
Mike. Mike, nobody has that opinion. Now it's kind of gaslighting because it's like, oh,
It's
we're
not.
saying we're
It's
just
not.
dismissing rape, which is one of the
But
most heinous crimes ever.
you wanted to
Nobody's
take
dismissing
away,
that.
but you wanted to take out domestic violence. Like, why? That's a huge
Do you
issue
know
in
what?
this country.
You just read to me the violent crimes. Domestic
Hmm.
violence wasn't even on there. You didn't read out to me
No, 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 no.
anything
Hold
that
on,
had
hold
to
on,
do
hold on,
with
hold on, hold
domestic
on.
violence.
Domestic violence is not a crime. It's a segment of aggravated assault, robbery, rape, and homicide. Like, it's in there. You know what I mean? These are
Okay,
the
so where would
crimes.
domestic violence fall under in those categories?
Let me see if they got that in there.
Can I ask you a question while you do that? If I was to
Yo,
slap you,
also, my phone might die, so just letting you know. But go for
that's
it.
okay. If I was to slap you, are you gonna call the police on me?
Nah. Now here's the thing. I might honestly. I don't argue with girls. One time a girl got crazy with me. I closed myself in the bathroom and I told her if she don't calm down, I'm calling the police. Because I'm not going to be one of them guys explaining shit to nobody about, oh, I tried to get her off of me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll call the police.
Okay, you say that you'll call the police, but your first answer was no.
Yeah, it doesn't because if I'm in a situation to where I can't get out, like I can't walk away, and I'm being cornered, it's possible.
No,
But that's
no.
not my
Do you
first
know what?
instinct
You're
because
not
I don't feel threatened by a woman.
right. You're not alone there, right? You're not alone. So most men, if I was to go out and hit a guy, most men aren't going to call the police on me. If I was to hit my boyfriend, he's not going to call the police on me. But women are a lot more likely if a guy hits them to call the police.
I mean,
So
you
that's
know,
where you
you
get
don't
the
think,
difference.
and that's bad.
No, 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 no. I'm just saying this is where the disparity in
Thank
domestic
you.
violence um, reports comes from, because men are a lot more likely to be silent victims and not call the police and not tell anyone, or just to
I don't
dismiss
cons-
it or be like, it didn't hurt me, it wasn't that bad. So men dismiss when it happens to them, whereas women are much more likely to report. And there are studies that prove this. When we go into the black community, 50% of men have been victims of domestic violence, along with 50% of women. It's actually equal on both sides.
That's not
It's
true.
equal.
I got it.
That
I
is
pulled it up right
true.
here. I pulled it up right here. I'll read it to you. It's from the Bureau of Justice and Statistics. Every year in the United States, there are over 3 million incidents of reported domestic violence. Every year, 4,000 victims of domestic violence are killed. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, 95% of assaults on spouses or ex spouses are committed by men against women. Nearly one third of the women who seek care from hospital emergency rooms are there for injuries resulting from domestic violence. Women are attacked about 6 times more often by offenders with whom they had an intimate relationship than males were victims.
Hmm.
During each year, women were the victims of more than 4.5 million violent crimes, including approximately 500,000 rapes or other sexual assaults. And 29% of the violent crimes against women by lone offenders, the perpetrators were intimates, husbands, boyfriends, and former boyfriends. The victims, friends, or acquaintances committed more than half of the rapes and sexual assaults. Intimate committed 26%, and strangers were responsible for about 5. What this, this is crazy that I'm one to defend women, and I'm looked at as like, oh, he's a simp. Like y'all community will call me a simp, and these statistics are horrendous. Women get treated like shit, like shit. You know what
Listen,
I'm saying? Dudes will
like,
stand over you, yell at you, intimidate. A woman can't intimidate a man.
I don't
You know what
agree
I'm saying?
with that whatsoever. Anyone who follows me would know that I don't agree with putting your hands on a woman. A man is much stronger. A man could do a lot more damage. I don't agree with men putting their hands on women, but I don't agree with women putting their hands on men either. I feel like that's something that where we should both respect each other. And this, what you just read out, are
But
police reports.
women putting hands on men is not an issue. There's no men like scared of women. You know what I'm saying? That's not
Right.
a thing.
I
It's not a
I
thing.
get that you're a strong guy, right? You're a strong guy. You're a big guy. But do you not think
I'm a
that
normal man. You know what I
listen,
mean?
you're a man, you are well built. You are. But do you not think that I could hurt you if I was to punch you in your face?
No, you can't hurt me.
You don't think I can
No,
hurt you?
no, no. Grown men punch me in my face and it don't hurt. Uh,
I couldn't split your lip.
no.
I couldn't give you a black eye.
Yeah, but that wouldn't hurt me.
But that's trauma, right? That's
No, it's
trauma.
not. It's not.
If you
It's not trauma. It's not trauma.
if a
That's
guy
not
was
trauma.
to okay, so if a guy was to give a woman a busted lip or a black eye, you would class that as trauma, right?
No, trauma. That's extreme.
Would you say that he
Trauma.
hurt her if he gave her a black eye or a
Oh,
busted lip
a guy doing that. It's up to the
to a
woman if she
woman?
felt if it was traumatizing to her. Then, and I think a man punching a woman in the face is traumatizing.
So why would it not be traumatizing if I do it to a guy?
Listen, all right. Maybe you hit really hard. Maybe you've hit guys and knocked them out. I don't know. I just don't know
No.
that world. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to say that it don't exist. To me, you asking me personally? Nah, that's not. It's not a thing. It's not even. I don't know that. I don't know people who. I know plenty of women who's got been beat up by their exes, you know what I mean? Choked out, police
It's wrong.
reports. I don't know that with guys. And I know it happens. I'm not saying it don't happen, but it's not the same. And if y'all want to act like it's the same, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
But
got to live their
then,
life.
do
You know
you
what I'm
not
saying?
realize that this is why men don't report when women are violent towards them?
Because
Because you'll have other men
it
that
don't hurt.
say, "Oh, you're a
All these
pussy. Why are
so
you
these
talking about
guys,
that?"
these guys that called me a simp are the ones that will call the cops, right? On the girl that hit him. Come on, man. Come on,
Listen,
man.
they
Like,
they
come on.
may do, they may do,
Come
they
on.
may not, they may
Come
do,
on.
they may not. But here's the thing: you've just actually shown us why what we're saying is right when we say that men don't
That's not.
report domestic violence as much,
We don't
because
report
you
domestic violence because that's not a problem. There's a problem of men beating women. There's not a problem of women beating men. And if there is, and maybe I live in some weird world where the everything's reversed than what I thought was happening, and all these women are lying.
no, you
You know
you
what I'm
said,
saying?
and somebody put the comment up, you hid in the bathroom.
I
You
yeah,
spoke
she
earlier
didn't
about
hit.
how you
She
hid.
I did that to protect myself from me trying to get her off me if that was to happen, and then possibly get domestic violence charges or whatever. Because I've heard, and this is another thing too, when I hear of a dude is explaining, well, I didn't hit her, she hit me, and then I tried to restrain her or what. My mind is like, you're right, my nigga, like because it happens so often that dudes put their hands on women. So I don't even want to hear that. So I don't want to be the guy explaining that to nobody. So yeah, I hid in the bathroom. I wasn't afraid of her.
Okay,
There's
but
nothing. There's
then
nothing no woman can do to me. But I'm not gonna
you're
have no physical interaction. That's my only time ever being in a situation like that because I don't deal with women that are not mentally stable. But
Listen, I don't believe men should be in physical fights with women. I don't. And I'd advise a guy, if a woman was to hit you, get out of there. If you can leave, leave. If you can't leave, I tell them to do more likely what you do rather than fight her or even interact with her that way, because it can end up with a guy catching a domestic violence charge even though he hasn't done anything. But do you not realize that that is inequality of the system? That I can attack you and you end up going to jail for it even though you haven't touched me. There's been studies done into this, and it's called chivalry theory. And chivalry theory is that men are basically chivalrous, and when it comes to violence, men tend to take the side of women. And so they've been police studies into domestic violence, and when police are called out to domestics and relationships, that the police tend to take the side of women. And it's something that comes naturally to men because men are chivalrous, men want to protect women, men see women as weaker, and therefore the police often take the woman's side. And you know that, and you know that's why you can end up catching a case for something that you haven't even done.
that's possible.
But
I won't
there
deny
are
that.
men that are falling foul to that. So you have men who can end up in prison on a domestic violence charge, even though they haven't even touched a woman. And so you
Okay.
spoke about how when you did time, there were so many guys in there for
Lots. Yeah.
domestic violence charges. So you have to sit back and think, okay, if the prison is overpopulated with men who have committed domestic violence, and men can get sent to prison for domestic violence even though they haven't done anything, you have to think, how valid are all of those cases? Somebody can't lose their freedom because of my privilege. That's not fair. That's
Mm.
not fair.
So you think that's a big issue? Because
If
look, obviously that's a thing, right? I'm not going to deny that. But is that really an issue? Is that really
it is,
a issue of
because
concern?
the American and the
Wow.
British justice system is actually based, right? It's based on a notion. And the notion that it's based on is that it's better for 100 guilty men to walk free than for one innocent man to lose his freedom. The whole justice system is predicated upon that. And so if we're looking at it and we're saying, um, men are going to jail for no reason and we should just overlook that. No, the whole justice system says that that is a complete injustice, and that the justice system is designed in a way where it's innocent until proven guilty. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. The whole justice system is based upon that. And even though the whole justice system is based upon that, men are still going to jail for something they haven't done. That's an
Okay.
issue.
Well,
The justice system
so
itself says
so
that's
we
an
need to
issue.
form. So we do. So what do you? How do you fix this? A coalition of men? Like
Men need to,
what's the
yeah. No, no, no.
band together?
It's about advocating for men's rights. Advocating for men's rights and truly making the justice system equal. I believe if a guy beats up a woman, he should go to jail. But I also believe that if a woman beats up a man, she should go to jail as well.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's fair.
I'm looking for fairness.
That's fair.
That's
I'm
what
not
it's
saying it's
all
not
about.
fair.
Yeah, so I'm looking
Anybody,
for
anybody unjustly violent to anybody should get whatever treatment is supposed to come to them. So I'm not denying
but
that.
do you really agree? Because you were saying that it's not as a big of an issue if women do it.
I don't think it is. Yeah, I'll stand by that.
So for you personally, it's not
I'm
an
gonna ask
issue
my
for
girl.
you, but in
Hey,
general,
hold on. Bert, is it an issue of women putting hands on men like it is men putting hands on women? Is that like a big? Yeah, she don't think it's that big of a deal. Um, nah, that's what's up. Like, listen, people should like fair is fair. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that's not. I didn't. Maybe it is. I don't pay attention to that. I didn't know it was an issue of woman on man violence. This sounds weird me saying that.
yeah, it's. Do you know why people don't realize that it's an issue? Because if it doesn't personally impact you, you don't hear about it.
But hold on.
It's unspoken.
Personal, but here's the thing. I have many women. Most women I know have dealt with dudes putting hands on them. So that affects me.
Do you not think that
You don't
most
know
guys
girls
have
that
been?
no, no, I don't.
You don't think most guys have
No.
been slapped by a
No.
woman before?
No. No, I don't.
You don't think most guys have been slapped by a
Have
woman?
you do you know do you think most guys been slapped by women?
I think most have, yeah. I think most guys have been hit by a woman. If we're
I'm
talking
being I'm
percentages,
being
over
honest with
50%,
you.
yes.
Over 50% of what? Of all guys?
Men, yeah, over 50% of men have been hit by a woman before.
Okay.
They may
That's
not now,
wild.
they may not class it as serious. Because I agree, a man can do more damage to a woman than a woman can do to a man. If you hit me, you're going to do a lot more damage than if I hit you. Agreed. But I'd say over 50% of men have been hit by a woman before.
Mm. Okay. That's a
So
statistic. I don't know that. So if you say
yeah,
so, I believe you.
I'm no, no, that's not confirmed. This is me just giving my opinion.
Okay.
That's me just giving my opinion. So overall, your thoughts on the red pill?
My thoughts is when I talked to the brother from damn, I can't what's the name of that channel?
Mediocre tutorials and reviews or fresh and
Mediocre.
fit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him directly, but I like his perspective, his breakdown. I think he's a smart, rational person. I don't think he's has those silly notions of anti-women sentiment,
I think
like the people in the
most
comments.
people don't. Most
No.
people
Hold on,
don't.
hold on. Let's not go through the comments and tell me that. That's most people are in the comments, right? You have sheep and you have shepherds. The shepherd may not have those sentiments, but the sheep 100% do. They're loose with the lip. I can send you if you send me a DM or tell me your Instagram. I seen you posts that I've done, like shouting out women,
Hmm.
talking about how dope women are, and you just read the comments. Read how filthy these comments are. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm in a relationship, I call my woman the boss, right? I know I'm the boss. I don't have to try to establish dominance over my woman. I don't have to. I'm the man of the house. Like that shit. Soft people do that. People who feel insecure with their position do that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, the boss right here. I give love. I show. I exalt mine. You know what I'm saying? But
And
I'll let you read the
I,
comments, and it's nothing but a
I,
nice post about women. And you read the comments, and you can see how dangerous these dudes' thoughts are. And then it gets to where women are just not important anymore. And women, life comes through women. You know what I'm saying?
and
Women are very important. And the way that these guys are talking about women and talking to women online, keep in mind, this is online. It's a whole new, different type of confidence that people have online. But it's disgusting. It's ugly. And these guys
listen,
are hitting the bathroom. Like, no, yeah, it's, see, I don't even deal with people like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a low level frequency, low level energy. You know what I'm
listen.
saying?
When you spoke earlier on and you said that you believe that women are God's gift to men, and some people were like, that's simping. I said no. If you've got a good woman and you're happy with her, appreciate her. That's healthy. That's healthy for a relationship. That's normal. That's healthy. So, listen, if you've got a good woman by your side, by all means, give her the props that she deserves. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a good thing because, again, it promotes a healthy dynamic between the two of you. So, sometimes you have to just learn to ignore things. You just have to learn to ignore things. I wouldn't take that too seriously. And sometimes people say things just to say things. There's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like most people would actually agree with that. Most people here would agree that there's nothing wrong with showing that you appreciate your woman if you have a good woman. There's nothing wrong with that. Would you be open to speaking to some of the men as opposed to me?
I mean, uh, what is it called? Fit and fly and fit,
Fresh and fit.
fresh and
Yeah.
fit. Talk
Hmm.
to them. Great guys, my guys. The guy from Mediocre Tactics or whatever. I like him.
Mediocre
I
tutorials.
like him.
Yeah.
I have no problem with these people. It
Yeah.
be the people in the comments that are bizarre. And
Hmm.
if you listen to these people talk, they agree with everything that I say. It's the people in the comments. They're the real betas. They feel insignificant and uh, they feel like they can never have or be where I'm at. So they attack with silly simp this and simp like, all right, bro, that's what's up. But I'm living a life that the life I'm living, they should be asking questions like, yo, how do I get to that level? You know what I'm saying? So it's not the people it's not the content creators. I haven't come across any yet that was like, that I was like, yo, what the fuck is he talking about? It's always the people in the comments. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'll stop engaging with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I was going to
Because,
say
but if I seen that in my shit, I'd purge. I'm like, I don't even want y'all calling me.
one thing.
If this is your energy, this kind of habitual hatred towards women, get the fuck out of here because I'm not with that. I love women.
One thing I
I
learned very
dare any of
quickly
them to
is don't
say,
read the
well, go for it.
comments. One thing I learned quickly is don't read the comments. Don't read
I
the
read
comments
you know why I read
because
comments? I'm gonna tell you why I
yeah.
read comments. Well, at least in my little ecosystem, it's because I really care about the content that I put out, and I want to,
Hmm.
and I talk to them. I'm not above them. I never put that energy out there like, oh, I don't got time for that shit. Nah, this is
You want to
part of it.
engage.
This is part
Yeah.
of it, and we have some meaningful dialogue in the comments. But when it comes to this stuff, it's just silly. You know what I'm saying? So
Sometimes if people know that something winds you up, people do it more. So I think that's something to be aware of. And like I said, I learned quickly. I read my comments that I get underneath my videos, but I don't read it. Just say I'm on somebody else's panel just like this. I don't read. I don't read it because they can throw you off. And listen, the opinions can be controversial sometimes, so it's best to ignore them. That's what I do. It's best to
Mhm.
ignore.
That's
But
what's up.
so yeah, you don't really have any problems with the content creators who are putting the information out. How did you what did you think about our conversation today?
It was cool, but I think we should have another conversation that's not online. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because you have an obligation to maintain your channel and to keep these chats going. It's economics,
Mhm.
and you're smart to maintain it. But all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? And what I do on my channel never was a channel that grew fast. It was slow and steady because there's certain things that I've been on YouTube for a long time. I got a good relationship with YouTube, and you familiar with CPM?
No.
Okay, CPM is, let's say like we both work at McDonald's, right? And let's say I get paid $15 an hour, you get paid $11 an hour doing the same job.
Yeah.
CPM is the rate in which you get paid, right? Because it's not the same across the board. Some people have really high CPM, some people don't. I have a really high CPM, and it's been like that for a minute. And I've had dialogue with them because I got a rep, and they just told me keep doing what you're doing because I don't do anything that's clickbaity. I don't do anything that's like there's a lot of things that people do once they start getting some attention. They try all these different things, right? Then they get attention at one thing, and then they buy with it. And sometimes it's not the best. I mean, read the comments. You know what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, certain types of content is rewarded with different types of CPM than others. And this is something I can school you on a little later offline. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we can talk.
Okay.
That's not
Okay.
a YouTube conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'll
But
DM you.
okay.
Um. But did you want to
And I
say
want to send,
something?
yeah, I want, yes, DM me 'cause I want to send you like posts and just read comments. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Yeah.
I will. I'll do that.
Okay. All right.
But
Well, thanks for having me on.
ultimately, yeah, I wanted to say thank you for coming up. I actually appreciate you coming up and giving your perspective and explaining your stance on things. So I
For
want to say
sure.
thank you, and yeah, more power to you.
Likewise. Likewise.
All
Have a good
right.
night. All
You
righty.
too. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
So that was interesting. I'm happy that he came up. I'm happy that he came up. He gave his point of view. I don't feel like I really need to play his video anymore. I feel like he explained his stance and his position enough. I will open up the panel for a little while, allow you guys to come up, have your opinion, and after that we will close down. So I'm going to put the link in the chat for those of you who do want to come up. And yeah, let's get the conversation going. It would be interesting to see if there are any people up here who agree with Mike's point of view. If you agree with Mike's point of view, then yeah, definitely come up. It will be interesting to get different perspectives. Yeah, DOV, it is natural to read the comments while you're on the panel because I would want to. I would want to read the comments, but after a while, you see things in there, the comments can throw you off. Sometimes you can get more engrossed in the actual comments that are going by than the conversation. So I learned to just not read it. And for some reason, it's always the bad comments that stick out more than the good comments, and it can throw you off. It can definitely throw you off. Reese, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, I
Hi.
can hear you.
Yeah.
So are
I
you?
wish I could. Huh?
I was going to say, are you in agreement with Mike, or do you disagree
Hell
with his
no.
stance?
That dude bugging. Let me tell you. He asked you earlier about um why do you think the purpose of these laws being created, as far as domestic violence